Hello and welcome to another episode of Business 24 on iBrandTV Lagos. I am Michael Nath, your regular host on the show. On today's episode, our focus is on team building, a strategy to drive business growth. Clearly, teamwork is fast becoming the preferred practice in many organizations. Traditional corporate hierarchies give way to flat, multi-skilled methods of working. Undoubtedly, there is no limit to the potential of a good team, as it reinforces confidence, which in turn converts tasks into realities. It's no-brainer that hiring the right employees is important. However, it's not enough. You will have to shape those employees into a winning team. We'll take a break now and come back and talk some more on team building. Stay with us. You're welcome to Business 24 on iBrandTV Lagos. Now joining me to talk further on team building and how to deploy the strategy to drive growth in your business is Echika Obijiako. Echika is the founder and CEO of Mwanga, a digital-first debt recovery and business process outsourcing firm positioned to be a leading extension to global teams in Africa. She has over 13 years experience across industries, financial services sector, spanning actuarial, analytics, corporate finance, consulting, advisory, business development, and entrepreneurship. Thank you, Echika, for joining us. Hello, Echika. Thanks very much for joining us.
Hello, Michael. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's lovely to have you around here. Now, there are divergent meanings as to what team playing or team building is all about.
Hello.
You can hear me, Echika. You can hear me, right? Hello, Echika. You can hear me, right?
I can't hear you if you can hear me, but I can't hear you.
Oh.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh.
See,
all right. Yes. Okay, now, there are different definitions of what team building is all about. What is your own personal definition of team building?
Okay, thank you for the question. Team building to me is an act of engaging your team. The goal to be able to teach them a certain skill. So when you build a
well, it appears we're having a glitch in the audio line there. Echika, are you still there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Please, could you continue from where you stopped?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Loud and clear.
Okay, fantastic. So I said that team building is, to me, is an act of engaging a team with a set of activities with the goal to be able to teach them certain skills. So when you are running a team, either running a team under a business or having a team through, running a project, from time to time, you need to actually check the temperature of the team. You need to be able to know that that you need to reach a desired business or
Echika is still there? Hello, Echika? We're still talking about team building and how to deploy this to ensure business growth. And I'm still with Echika. Echika, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly, loud and clear.
Yeah, you were giving us your personal definition of team building.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I said that team building is an act of engaging a team through various activities with the goal to teach them a certain skill, a certain relevant skill. And I was trying to give an example of how you're running a team, maybe in a business, or you have a team based on a project. And from time to time, it's important that you sense check the temperature of your team. You check that the team still possesses the required skills that would help you achieve your desired business goal. The skill can be you're trying to teach communication, you're trying to sense check what's the level of communication skill your team possesses. A team building, activity can bring that out for you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. We are actually conversing. Now, are there any nexus or is there any connection whatsoever between team building, team management, and team bonding?
Yes, there is. I like to look at team management as the umbrella body. Let me put it that way. So team management really just means the ability for a person or an organization to be able to coordinate a group of people towards achieving a desired goal or running a desired task. That's team management. Now, for you to be able to coordinate a group of people, and this could be anywhere, not necessarily businesses, business in the company, in a small project, for you to be able to get the people to achieve the task or carry out a task, the people need to be, should I say, competent to be able to carry out the task. They need to possess certain skills. They need to kind of imbibe certain culture, depending on the culture of maybe the organization or whatever. Now, processes or platforms or forms that help you to sense check that you still have a team that is aligned to the culture, or you still have a team that has the necessary skills, or check if is where things like team building comes in, right? So team building, like I said, is just an act of engaging a team through a set of activities. And there are different types of, team building, so to say, if I want to look at it. You have some team buildings that are activity-based. Maybe you are trying to foster teamwork. You're trying to teach on, you want to teach them how to be competitive, because the truth is, in business, you would have competition, right? And you need to know how to just work and stand out. And so when you have those activity-based types of team building, like, you take your team for a go-kart thing, or you take your team for paintballing, something that makes them work together in teams, sub-teams, and compete against one another. You see that that teamwork, that competitiveness, and sometimes, most importantly, communication. You begin to see where the team is, you weigh it at that time. There is also skill-based. So if you think that your team is lacking in certain skills, so skill-based team building can be where you can give the teams, put your teams in clusters, and then give them like complex problems to solve. I remember one, for instance, where people were asked to build a house with spaghetti strands and marshmallows, and that was all they got. And you'd have to be in team clusters to do it. So it takes a team to sit together, communicate, and brainstorm. At the end of the day, you begin to see the strategies in your team through that activity, people that can really think, you see them out. On a normal day, if that team building exercise was not happening, they may be introverts in the office not saying anything. But those activities begin to bring out, the strengths and weaknesses of people. There's also value-based, right? Value-based can be things like you're taking your team to an orphanage, you're taking your team to clean up a community. You begin to see the humane side of your team. You begin to see how they react, to people. And also the team begins to align with the fact that the company or the business or the project or whatever, the organization really cares about people. And all these things, can help. And then there is team bonding. Team bonding is really just for fun. When you bring different people into a room, we don't know ourselves, we are not brothers and sisters, we're supposed to work on a project and achieve a particular goal. You can set the goal straight. You can tell us what to do, right? We can do it. But what makes the job sweeter and maybe more endurable is if we know each other. It's easier for you to carry out a project with your blood brother or blood sister if you have.
Echika, okay. Yeah, we're still talking about the different aspects or different.
Yes. I lost you for. I lost you.
We're on now. We're on now.
Okay. Yeah. So I talked about the activity-based team building. I talked about skill-based, and that's when I talked about things where like you want to solve. You want to teach them the skill of complex problem solving, leadership, and then this is where you kind of give them a task where they have to sit and solve. Then you have the value base, which is about giving back. So you take your team out for community service and all those things. It helps them even begin to see the company in a different light, right? So people will feel like, oh, my company cares about the less privileged. We went out and we did this for a community of 1,000 children. It just gives you a different perspective about who that company or what that company stands for. And then there's team bonding. Team bonding is the fun. And as fun-filled as team bonding seems, is so important because team bonding helps you build interpersonal relationships with yourself. Imagine you're in the team bonding, you all go out for drinks or dinner, and then on the table there is maybe people are cracking jokes and laughing. Your MD is on the table, there's a drinking competition, just something that everybody loosens up. There's no wall, and then you see your managers, you see your subordinates, you see your peers in another light. You see them all relaxed, and that's where you really see the true nature of people. And so by the time you have that experience in your head and you go back to the office, remember I said team management is the umbrella, so I like to look at it like it encompasses other things: team building, team bonding, the other aspects, training and all those other things, right? And then you go to the office the next day and you remember how loosened up and fun your direct manager was. And on a normal day in the office, it seems very uptight or she seems very uptight, and because you people shared a moment there, there was a joking moment, something, you're just a bit relaxed, and then you can easily communicate better to that person. So that makes the work even easier and to do. And then you may even start to see similarities between yourself and this person you didn't really know. So you kind of know each other better and you work. So they're all connected. Those two work, bonding and building, is very efficient, and it helps a lot to allow team management to be more effective, bearable, and easy. Let's put it that way.
Okay, now some business owners to a large extent are aware of the benefits of building a winning team. There is no doubt about that. But many of them do not get it right. Now, where do you suppose they might have got it wrong?
So it's a couple of things. First, I would say
let's hear it.
So I'll say lack of knowledge. A lot of times when people run businesses, we're so focused on the goal to make the money, impress the stakeholders, achieve results, that we don't really think about if the people matter. I'll give you an example. Okay. Now, in a construction site, someone is building a house, and maybe you're the contractor and all that. Do you really think about it in this Nigerian setting, do you really think the lead contractor really cares about the bricklayers carrying the blocks? He just wants results. I want this building up in maybe 2 months. I'm giving an example. Does he really care beyond that to say, oh, have you eaten? How's your family? How are you today? You look very tired. Does he really think beyond that? Most times you don't get it. Most times you get people just being very result oriented. And it's also the place of maybe mindsets and the society and all that. There's also the place of neglecting HR. HR is so important. I think people think HR is for just recruit for me. But HR is beyond that. HR has so many other functions. Employer-employee relations, just to ensure that the employers and the employees, have this synergy. HR is responsible for that. So if you are able to identify the importance of HR and make sure you have a good HR manager, or in the case that you cannot afford maybe to hire a HR manager, the HR consulting firms, that you can put on a retainer to help you handle that aspect of your team development. So you have operations and all that, but the people that help you to prepare, learning curriculums, team building activities, all those other things. The HR helps you to manage that, to help the team drive towards the desired result. There's also a lack of focus, really, and I think I've talked about the lack of focus. They're so focused, business people are so focused on making money, and nobody really takes time to even read an article on how do I build my team, how do I get, a better result for my team. They just focus on the bad aspect. People are not working, you are not whatever. But there is a place where, there's a saying that says, give a hat before you ask for a hand. I'm not saying employers should pamper their staff, and all that, but you can get the best out of someone if you can get to know the person a little bit better and, understand what is the trigger for their strengths. You can have a staff that is always moody, but once you are able to understand a bit of that stuff, you know that, okay, when I do this, this makes this person very driven. So I know that I'm going to pushing this person to exhibit more of their strengths, than their than their weaknesses. And I think generally no value for people. And I think most importantly also business people just also being, coming to that realization that you can't build a business alone. You can start a product or start something yourself, but at that point you're going to need a team.
Sure. Yeah.
Important. Yeah. So that team is so important. Now the health of that team needs to be taken very seriously.
Okay,
you understand? The health of that
Echika,
very seriously.
Echika, definitely you have so much to give, and that means we are not letting you go yet. But for now, let's take a breather. We'll come back and continue from where we stopped. You're still watching Business 24 here on iBrandTV Lagos. Let's take a breather. We'll be back with more. Stay with us. You're welcome back to watching Business 24 on iBrandTV Lagos. And we've been talking about team building and how to deploy this strategy to drive growth in your various businesses. I still have with me via Zoom, Echika Obidiako, the founder and CEO of Mwanga. Echika, you're welcome back.
Thank you.
All right. Now we've taken a breather. I feel refreshed. So let's continue with the second phase of our conversation. Now, still talking about team building, what is the place of staffing and recruitment in ensuring the right team to work in an organization?
I can hear you. Okay.
Hello, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, I was talking about the place of staffing and recruitment in ensuring a right team to work in a particular organization.
Yeah.
Are you there? Did you get the question?
I just heard the place of staffing and recruitment. And then I didn't hear.
In building the right team, how does one go about recruitment and staffing of the organization to ensure that the right team is in place at the end of the day?
Yes. Okay. Thank you for that. I think first of all, for the recruitment of the right team, you need to have the right recruiter, which means that your personnel in the HR team needs to be very skilled for the job. And if you don't even have a HR team, you can get to one of the very good HR consultants in town and then engage them.
So you mean this can't happen internally, like within the organization, you pick some management staff to handle the recruitment of the right people?
So yes, yes.
Yeah. Are you still there? Hello, are you still there, Echika? Hello, Echika, are you still there? Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, you're back right now. You can hear me, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
I can. I can.
Let's pick up from where we dropped off.
Yeah, yeah. So what I'm saying is, if you don't have a HR staff in house, a good HR staff in house, or you don't have a HR consultant that can help you, you in house alone and your group of managers, you first need to know what you want. First of all, what is this role about? The role we're trying to hire for. Do we have a clear definition of the job descriptions that this role is going to carry out? What kind of competencies does do your candidates have to be able to sit in this role? There has to be clarity. So a lot of times you find business people or people in organizations saying, "Oh, I need this. For example, I need a PA." But you really don't even know what you want the PA to do. You just maybe say, I just need the PA to organize my life. You actually need to be able to detail it out. What do you really need the PA to do? What are the competencies you want to see in the PA? Because that will guide you into going to fish for these candidates. And, you can even do it on your own. Thanks to LinkedIn, it's easy for you to search through different skill sets and all that through LinkedIn, and it will filter out a couple of people for you in a location you have specified. And then you can start to reach out to these people and have like initial chats with them. When you have initial chats, the initial chat is for you to sense check if they are likely to have the competency you need for the role. And then when you see that there's a possible match, then you can open up an interview process. But there needs to be that clarity coming, or else you're just going to allow everybody through the doors. And most importantly, first of all, is what's the culture of the organization? So culture is something that a lot of business people don't really sit down to really clarify. Sometimes they don't even know what the culture of the organization is, or the culture of the organization, or the culture they want the organization to carry. Because we may admire certain companies, but it's the culture we are going to run with, the same with theirs. So what is the culture? Because the culture will help you identify people that are most likely culture misfits, even in the recruitment process. So, for example, if you're running a company, a team where you need young people that will move out, talk to people about the product and everything, and then you meet maybe like a 70-something-year-old person who has rich marketing experience, you would know what is it that I want my team. And it's not about the age. Sometimes you find older people that are very agile.
All right, Echika, at this point, see, like I said before now, you are really loaded, so much to give, but we have so little time to have all this. So as much as possible, the very few questions I'm going to ask you, make the responses as brief as possible, okay? Now, at what stage of the business should entrepreneurs begin to think about team building? Is it at the beginning, somewhere along the line, or towards, I don't know. Tell us, please.
I would say at the beginning. When you start a business, you start really alone most times. But before you start bringing in a team, you actually have to have that clarity. Like I said, clarity of the culture you want, clarity of the goal, the desired goal you want. Now, the kind of people that you want to bring into the team, what are the competencies they should have? And then based on that, you now start to, plan your kind of have your growth plan. So you have to start thinking about it from the onset, even before the people come. It's just like a mother that is about to give birth to a child, right? You don't start planning for the child when the child comes. You actually have to start planning for the child before the child comes, so that it kind of makes the journey a bit easier and familiar, because you have put all those things in place. So I'd say at the beginning.
Okay. No, there is nothing that is 100% positive. Some aspects could be positive, others negative. This thing is sounding so good, so positive, that one wouldn't have time or the thought of thinking about the possibility of disadvantages. But I must ask, is there any disadvantage in team building?
Yes, there can be. There can be. Remember I mentioned earlier that the team building activity unveils your team. So what you would actually find out in some team building activities is that you've actually had the wrong team. And it can be heartbreaking at the point where you find out that your team is lacking in a very vital skill. I think it's the ability for the business owner or the manager to see those ugly situations, take it up, and then go back and try to make a decision. Is it a case where we can train, or can we? Is there a possibility to still transform or transition these people into where we want them to be, or is it a possibility where we need to have a conversation of advice to resign, or what is it? But the team building activity unveils, so it's not all going to be rosy in team building. No, most times you're going to find a lot of ugly sides. So when you're having a team building activity, just have an open mind.
Okay, thank you so much, Echika Obijiako is the founder and CEO of Mwanga. Thanks a lot for being our guest today. And that's where we draw the curtain on today's edition of Business 24 here on iBrandTV. Until we come your way again, this is Michael Nath. Bye for now.